Hey everybody, it's Vanessa, the Wellbeing Being. Just having a walk tonight, and I've been doing some thinking about what it means to be broken, and how do you survive the broken experience that you're having. And so I just really wanted to check in with a quick little video and share some, just some thoughts, and also some of the things that I did in the early years after my son died to help me to get through. And so I think we all know what it means to be broken, but what we don't know is if whether or not we can make it through the brokenness. And I really want to encourage you to know that yes, you can get through this. Because I didn't ever believe that I could get through it. Honestly, I didn't think that it was possible for me to get through it. I was super convinced that I would hate myself if I ever survived, because what kind of a monster survives and thrives after their child's died? Like, I couldn't even imagine my life now. So that first year is really, really tough, in the sense that, the pain that you're in, it's so physical. I remember thinking to myself, like, how is it that I can not just spontaneously combust from the pain of this experience? It is so horrible. And so that's why I just didn't really think that I would ever get to a better place. So I just focused on surviving every day. And one of my strategies that worked for me in those early days, because you wake up with a start. I think maybe you guys can relate to that. You wake up with a start going like, oh my God, and the memory comes back. So I used to just like hop in the shower, and I had, this was before iPhones and stuff, so I had a little radio in my shower. I would turn the radio on and kind of listen to songs or chatter about what was going to happen in the day. And that was one of my ways that I distracted my brain from thinking the horrible thoughts. Another thing that I did in the early days was I spoke to the only other bereaved parent that I knew of was my best friend's mom, and she told me to stay busy as much as I could, to stay busy, and I felt like that was pretty decent advice as well. So I did try to stay busy as much as I could, and really, like I say, I just survived it. Like, it was awful, and I don't have a lot of happy memories that I like to reflect on from that time. I want to be super real with you about it. Like, even sometimes thinking about how hard that first year was for me makes me like a bit afraid. Like, what if I felt that bad again? Is sort of like I can recognize that fear, right? So I want to validate and also normalize like how intense the pain is. Yeah, it's intense. And also, like, that is normal. There's nothing about that experience that it makes you wrong, or to like you're doing it wrong. Like, you're just not, there's nothing about how you're doing it that's making it like that, is what I'm trying to say to you. It's like that. So go easy on yourself. Be kind to yourself. That's why I really push the self-compassion affirmations that really acknowledge like how terrible this loss is, in the sense that this is a difficult thing to deal with, so it makes sense that you're struggling with dealing with it, right? So those are the kind of things that I want to sort of stress. But I also want to stress that focusing and fixating your thoughts around the loss and how terrible it is and your future without your child, now is not the time for that. You have a whole rest of your life to get used to this loss. Do not do that to yourself all at once. It's too much for your brain to handle. It's too much for your heart to handle. Just go gently with it all. Get used to it slowly. Do normalizing activities. If going to work makes you feel normal, go to work. If there's things that you can do that can normalize your life, do those normalizing things. If you can't, and you really are over the top, like you don't know what to do, reach out, get professional help. Don't just sit on the sidelines and wait for it to get better. If you are in serious distress, please go and find some help for yourself, because I know it's out there. It is out there. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And even watching these videos, I hope is helpful for you. And if you feel like that's the most help that you can get, then I have so many videos in my Facebook group. I post videos there all the time for people And so if you feel like that's what you need to do, then go and binge watch some of my videos in the Facebook group to just get a sense that like you're not alone if you're a mess. You're not alone if you feel crazy. You're not alone in feeling like you're never going to get over the loss of your child. All those feelings are so normal, so okay, and just, welcome to the club. It's like the club that you never want to be a part of. But I tell you, most of the members in the club will take really good care of you when you do take that chance to reach out. And that's one of the things that I just really love about all of the people. Mwah, shout out to my Facebook group, the ladies and the gentlemen in that group. I mean, the amount of love and support that you'll get in there. Some of us are, further down the path. Other people are more freshly bereaved. It's just a really nice mix of people who want to live in a positive way despite the loss, but not like, we don't let go of our children. We don't. We hang on to them. We keep them with us, and that's how we survive the best. That's how we survive. That's what the research suggests. That's what I find, there's no way, you don't get over it. You don't let them go. You don't move on. None of that. But you are allowed to, to get to a better place with it. But I just want to say, in that first year, just survive. Don't question it. You won't know how, but eventually, one day at a time, you will start to feel better. But that won't be your goal. Your goal will just simply be every day to show up and be as the best version of yourself that you can be. And some days that's the crying mess of yourself, and that's the best that you have to offer. So offer yourself the compassion to cry it out in that first year as well. I met one bereaved parent. I'm going to leave you with this last little story. I met one bereaved parent, but I didn't get a chance to talk to him because he sadly passed before my son died. And so he was a New Yorker, and he was a friend of my mom's. He was married to my mom's girlfriend, and he had lost his daughter to murder. And I guess the thing that stuck with me about what he said to me, just because I was a curious little kid back then, I was probably like 21 or something, and just really asking him questions about the whole thing that maybe were a little out of line, but I remember his answers, and they served me well when I was faced with my own grief over my own child's loss. And so what he said to me was, I really wish that I had grieved harder after it had happened. I was so concerned with holding myself together. And then I was so concerned with catching the criminal, and so concerned with the trial and all of these things, that I never really allowed myself to fall apart completely. And then he sort of said to me, and now it's just all these years later, and there's no room for me to fall apart. So, if you're falling apart over it and you feel like, oh yeah, please give yourself the space to fall apart, and remember the wisdom of that story from my mom's friend. He was a very enlightened and totally amazing being. But what he said to me was, I missed out on that opportunity to give myself that gift of grieving. So give yourself the gift of grieving, however that looks for you. It's a lost art, You're going to get to somewhere better, one day at a time. So that's what I have to say tonight. I'm just going to flash you around where I am here. Beautiful Vancouver Island. That's, I think that's Tuxedo Island, and then in the distance, the mainland of British Columbia, because I live in British Columbia, in Canada. I'm so blessed to live here. And the last thing I guess I want to say is that after my son died, and this is what inspired me to make the video tonight, I was thinking, like, man, after Luther died, I couldn't even enjoy nature. Nature's always been my go-to. Like, if there was something going on in my life before, it would be like, oh, hit the woods, hit the beach, hit the ocean, just get grounded with nature. I'm a real nature-loving woman. So losing that, oh my God, losing that was just as hard. Like, the things that you lose when you lose your child, we can get into that in another video. There's so many things to talk about, but losing that was really hard for me, because that was one of the ways that I used to make myself feel better, and it didn't work anymore. So I just, to come down here and to feel good, and to be able to connect with the beauty, and to really mean it in my heart. I feel so certain that you'll get there too, is what I'm saying. I wouldn't have believed that I could get here, and here I am. So you can do it. Just take it one day at a time. And if you're not a part of the Facebook group, then please do join us in the Facebook group that what I call it, Support for Bereaved Parents. And feel free to share your vulnerability and your pain, and just really receive the support from people who've been there, rather than accepting support or ideas or whatever about what you need to do from people who don't know what you need because they haven't been there. So, and that's a whole other video, isn't it? Talking about the things that people will say to you. So in that first year, okay, last thing I'm gonna say, I promise. In that first year, you're in that first year and people are saying things that hurt your feelings. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I'm so sorry that people are not able to say nicer things to you. I wanna say that on behalf of all of the awkward people who are saying things that are hurting your feelings. They don't know what to say. But it's not an excuse. I don't want to make excuses for them. I just want you to know that we all feel your pain that way. We've all been there. You know, people say some really crazy things to the freshly bereaved. You know, oh, they're in a better place, or oh my God, I blank them out, honestly. I blank them out. I don't have a list of them in my mind because I hear them and then I try to forget them because I feel like if I remember the shitty things that people say to me, I'm going to hold a grudge. Anyways, that's just a little bit of humor for you. It's like, yeah, people say really, really tragically messed up things. And so, you know what? We could play that game, you know, share the messed up things that people say to you with the other members of the group, and we can compare notes. You know, let's not make it an act in making people wrong or in negativity, because, you know, at least they're trying. But I don't want to downplay the fact that the things that people say in the first year particularly can be really painful to hear. So, all right, well, thanks for listening. Speak to you soon.